Imagine a library so vast, so complete, that scholars said it contained the entire knowledge of the human race. Mathematics from ancient Greece, medicine from Persia, astronomy from India, philosophy from every civilization that had ever written a word. For 500 years, the city of Baghdad and its House of Wisdom had collected, translated, and preserved all of it. On February 13, 1258, the Mongols arrived. 1 week later, the library was gone. The river ran black with ink, and the Islamic Golden Age was over. This is the story of the most catastrophic week in the history of human knowledge. To understand what was lost, you need to understand what Baghdad was. Founded in 762 AD by Caliph al-Mansur on the banks of the Tigris River, Baghdad was designed from the beginning to be the center of the world. A perfectly circular city, the Round City, with the Caliph's palace at its absolute center. Within a century, it had become exactly that, the largest city on earth outside of China. 1 million people, Christians, Jews, Muslims, and scholars of every nationality living and working side by side. At its heart was the House of Wisdom, Beit al-Hikmah, founded by Caliph Harun al-Rashid in the late 8th century and expanded by his son al-Mamun. It was the greatest library and intellectual center the world had ever known. Scholars were paid in gold equal to the weight of the books they translated. Greek philosophy, Indian mathematics, Persian medicine, Syrian astronomy, everything was collected, translated into Arabic, and preserved. The algebra you learned in school was developed here. The surgical techniques still used today were refined here. The star maps that guided navigation for centuries were drawn here. Baghdad was not just a city, it was a civilization's memory.
The Mongol Empire in 1257 was the largest contiguous land empire in human history. Stretching from the Pacific Ocean to Eastern Europe, it had been built in less than 50 years by Genghis Khan and his successors through a combination of military genius, strategic brutality, and a simple rule that never varied. Submit and live. Resist, and everything you have ever built will be erased. City after city had chosen to resist. City after city had been reduced to rubble. In 1253, the great Khan Mongol assigned his brother Hulagu Khan to bring the Islamic heartland under Mongol control. Hulagu was given what historians believe was the largest Mongol army ever assembled. By one account, 1 in 10 fighting men from across the entire empire was conscripted for this campaign. Hulagu brought with him Chinese engineers who operated siege machines unlike anything the Islamic world had seen. Catapults that could hurl stones or burning material over the highest walls. Engineers who knew how to divert rivers to undermine foundations. In November 1257, this army began its march toward Baghdad. Caliph al-Mustasim, the last Abbasid Caliph, received the news. He did not believe it was a serious threat. His advisors were divided. His treasury, which could have funded a massive defense, sat untouched. The city walls were not reinforced. No alliances were sought. The Caliph trusted in Baghdad's spiritual prestige. No army, he believed, would dare destroy the seat of the Islamic Caliphate. He was wrong. On January 29, 1258, Hulagu's forces completely encircled Baghdad. The Mongols attacked from both sides of the Tigris River simultaneously. a tactical decision that eliminated any possibility of escape or reinforcement. The Chinese engineers deployed their siege machinery. Catapults battered the walls continuously. Canals were diverted to weaken the city's foundations. Within 14 days, just 14 days, Baghdad's walls collapsed. The Caliph attempted to negotiate. He sent emissaries offering tribute. Hulagu rejected every offer. On February 13, 1258, al-Mustasim left the city personally to surrender. He walked into the Mongol camp and handed himself over, hoping to save his people. It did not save them. On February 13, 1258, the Mongol army entered Baghdad. What followed was 7 days of systematic destruction, unlike anything the medieval world had witnessed.
The killing began immediately. Estimates of the dead range from 90,000 at the very lowest to 800,000. The true number will never be known. The Tigris River, survivors reported, ran red with blood. But it was what happened to the books that would echo through history. The Mongols entered the House of Wisdom. 500 years of accumulated human knowledge, mathematics, medicine, philosophy, astronomy, literature from every civilization the scholars of Baghdad had encountered was pulled from the shelves. The books were thrown into the Tigris River in such quantities that the water turned black with ink. One scholar, Nasir al-Din al-Tusi, managed to rescue approximately 400,000 manuscripts before the siege and transport them to safety. But he was the exception. The great majority, centuries of irreplaceable knowledge, was gone. As for Caliph al-Mustasim, Hulagu had his entire family executed. The Caliph himself was killed according to Mongol custom, which forbade the spilling of royal blood on the earth. He was wrapped in a carpet and trampled to death by horses. The Abbasid Caliphate, which had ruled the Islamic world for 500 years, was extinguished in a single week. Historians still debate exactly how much was lost. Some argue that many of the most important texts had already been copied and distributed across the Islamic world and survived. Others argue that what burned in Baghdad was irreplaceable, original manuscripts that no copy had ever been made of. What is not debated is this: Baghdad never recovered. The city that had been home to 1 million people and the greatest library on earth was reduced to a shadow. The Islamic Golden Age, which had produced algebra, surgical instruments, the first hospitals, advances in astronomy and optics and philosophy, effectively ended in February 1258. And into the power vacuum left by the Mongol destruction, new powers would eventually rise, including, as we have covered in this series, the Ottoman Empire, which would eventually claim the Caliphate that the Mongols had extinguished. The Tigris River eventually ran clear again. Baghdad was rebuilt slowly over centuries. The House of Wisdom was never rebuilt. Today, the site where it once stood is in modern Iraq. There is no monument, no museum. Most people walking past have no idea that the greatest library the medieval world ever produced once stood there, or that it was destroyed in a single week in 1258. Some of what was lost has been partially reconstructed from copies found in other cities. Some was never recovered. 7 days, one city, the end of a golden age that had taken 5 centuries to build. Subscribe to the Crimson Standard for more stories history forgot to tell.